Good afternoon, children. How are you all? I hope you all are well and safe in your home. Fine. So, in previous EVS class, we have studied about the food. And what all things we studied in the last class? We came to know about the balanced diet. Means how much food we have to take, in which ages, how much food we have to take, how much the quantity should be, and also we came to know about the cooking, the method of cooking the food. Okay, how to cook the food we came to know in detail in the previous class. So that is nothing but here cooking the food in the low temperature or in the medium temperature. We should never cook any kind of a food on a high temperature, because if we cook the food on a high temperature, whatever nutrients are present in those food will be burned or will get lost. Okay, because of the high temperature they will get burned. They will get burned. So that's why whatever food it will be, we should not cook them in the on a high temperature or high flame. The flame should be medium or low medium. And also we came to know the food we should not cook for a long time. How much it is needed, that much only we should cook. We should not cook that food until it all get burned. Okay, so long time we should not take to cook the food. This also is the second point. And also we came to know too much of washing the vegetables or any food items will remove the outer covering of the nutrients of those food items. Some food items are having nutrients on their outer covering, outer layer. So if we wash them, like for example rice is having nutrients on their outer covering. If we wash them too much with so many times putting the water, then whatever the nutrients present outside, no, that will be lost. That's why we should not wash any kind of a food items for a long time, or too much washing will remove the nutrients from the food. So these steps we came to know how to cook the food. Okay, the methods of cooking the food we came to know, and also we came to know what is the raw food and what is the cooked food. Okay, raw food means which we get directly from the shop, which is hard or solid in a nature and which is not at all able to eat. Right? So some food items we can eat them raw. Those also we came to know in the previous class. So raw food items are nothing but which came directly from the field or from the trees, and also or from the plants. And cooked food, raw food is that one, and cooked food means which we will take, which we will wash and which we will cut and we will cook. No, that is nothing but the cooked food. Okay, so one more point you have to remember, that whenever we wash the vegetables, how much it is needed, that much only we should wash, and we will cut them. After cutting the vegetables, we should not leave them for a long hours, because whatever nutrients will be there in that will be lost. So whenever we chop the vegetables or any fruits, instantly we have to eat the fruits and instantly we have to cook those vegetables. We should not leave them in the air. Fine. So these steps we came to know in the previous class. And also we came to know what are the methods. There are some methods to preserve the food and also to store the food. And in that we came to know first method is freezing. Freezing is nothing but storing the food in the cold places, because all the food items are having water content in it. All the food items are having water in it, and if we leave them, if we keep the food, cooked food outside in the room temperature, in the high temperature, then whatever water will be there in that food, no, that will allow the germs to grow. And germs will grow and they will need the food which is kept outside in this normal temperature. All the germs will grow, they will need the food, and spoiled. That's why whatever food will be there, that one after cooking, keep outside until it become cool. Because after cooking suddenly we cannot take hot pan or hot vessel and we cannot keep that in a fridge. That is very dangerous, as I told before also. Okay, whatever you cooked, no, so keep it outside after your meal. If it is left means let it be cool there only. When you feel that it is it became cool, then take it and keep it in the fridge. Then if we keep them in the fridge, their temperature will be low. Okay, and temperature is too low means no germs will grow in the food item and our food will be safe. Like this. So here the method first is freezing. This method is nothing but the freezing. Freezing is nothing but the storing the food in the cold places. Fine. Second method is boiling. To kill the germ, we have to boil the water also. And also we came to know boiling the milk at the high temperature. I am telling high temperature. So we should boil the milk at the high temperature. If we boil the milk on the high temperature, whatever germs will be present in the milk, no, that will be killed. Because milk we will get from the animal's body, and in animal's body so many germs will be there. Directly we will take them and directly we cannot drink that one, because if we drink means what will going to happen? Whatever germs present in that milk, that will go inside our body. That is harmful for our body. That's why whenever we buy a milk, we have to take it out in a vessel and we have to boil that one or heat that one on a high temperature. And when we heat them on a high temperature, all the germs which are present in that milk, they will be killed. And after that, we should keep that vessel outside, in the outside only. Leave it until it become cool, and after that only you take it and keep it in the fridge. We should not leave milk outside in the normal temperature because it will spoil. So after when it will become cool, no, take it and keep it in the fridge. Then our milk will be safe. This method is nothing but the boiling, killing the germs from the water and milk. Boiling. Okay, first method is freezing, second method is boiling, third method is salting. Salting is nothing but here adding the more amount of the salt into the food. Adding more amount of the salt into the food. Without salt, our food will be tasteless. If everything we prepared, everything very nicely, but we forgot to put we forgot to add the salt in the food, then can we eat that food? Not at all. Because it becomes tasteless. So salt is main source of the food. So here adding a lot of salt in the food item. This is a salting. Okay. Why we should add the salt why we are adding salt in the food item means, here the food item, as I told, food items are having water content in them. If we add the salt, that salt will go inside the food and it will not allow, it will suck all the water from the food. Food will be there. In food, water will be there. So if we put salt in that salt will go inside the food and it will take all the water in it. And if there is no water remained, means no germs will grow. That's why salting is very, very important. Salting is nothing but the adding of the lot of or medium, how much we want, no, that much of a salt into the food. Okay, so here in pickles, that's why we have to put a lot of salt so that it should not get rot or spoiled. Okay, in pickles also we should add some more amount of salt in the pickle and we can keep it outside. This is the third method, that is the salting. First is freezing, second is boiling, third is salting. So in today's class, let's see another three methods of preserving and storing the food. Next comes dehydration. Here fourth is dehydration. So what is this dehydration? Dehydration. So here dehydration means, this means removing the extra moisture from the food before storing it. Removing the extra moisture from the food before storing it. That is why we often put foodstuffs in the sun to dry. Vegetables like onion, potato and cauliflower can be dried. So here dehydration is nothing but removing the water from the food, or removing the moisture or water from the food. As I told, food will be having water in it, and if water is there in the food, that water allows the small germs to grow. Hence here in the dehydration process is nothing but removing the water from the food. So how to remove the water from the food means keeping those food items in the sunlight. Okay, some foods we cannot boil and we cannot heat on the gas. Those kind of foods, what we have to do? We have to keep them outside in the sun. Okay, so if when sun rays will fall on that food, all the moisture or water content which is present in the food, no, that will be burnt. Okay, so here dehydration process is nothing but removing the extra moisture from the food. Okay, what is this? Removing extra moisture. Removing extra moisture from the food, or removing extra water from the food. That process is nothing but the dehydration. So here foodstuffs like so many food items we will keep in the sun. I think you have seen. Okay, so your mom used to take some food items and she will go upstairs and she will scatter them. Right, on the roof, she will scatter them and she will allow it to dry in the sunlight. Right, so here onion, potato, cauliflower, these also can be dried. These also we can keep in the sun. So a little bit inside the onion, inside the potato, if you cut inside, water content will be there, no? Yes, that's why to dry that onion should not get raw, no? So to keep those onion, potatoes, cauliflowers like these, to keep them safe, we can put them in the sunlight for a 1 day like this or 2 days. Okay, so this is nothing but the process of removing the extra water from the food by keeping in the sunlight. This process is nothing but the dehydration. Okay, now coming to the next method, that is sweetening. Okay, next method is the sweetening. What is the sweetening? So here next process is sweetening. What is this? Let's see here. So sweetening is nothing but sugar to prevent germs from the sugar. You know sugar, no? That will prevent germs from growing. Okay, sweetening preserves fruits as a jam and then jelly and then squash and then marmalade. These are the fruits. Okay, jam, marmalade, jelly and then squash. Okay, here is the jam. jam, this is a squash, and this is a jelly. I think you will eat the jelly chocolates and all. That will be like a spongy. That is very soft, right? So here sweetening means here the important thing is sugar. Sugar will also help the food items to control the growing of the germs. It will stop, germs will grow in the food items. So if we add the sugar, it will not allow the germs to grow in the food items. Okay, so here that's why we will preserve the jam. Okay, this method is followed in preserving the jams. Jam will be sweet only, which you apply on the bread and you will eat. No, okay. In that sweetness, sugar is added in the jam, so that whatever we have to keep that jam for a long time in the fridge. No, in one day only at a time we cannot eat all the jam. We have to preserve them. No, so to preserve them, in that sugar is added, and that sugar will not going to allow that jam should be rot or any germs should grow in that jam. That's why this is sweetening process, means adding the sugar to the food. Okay, this sweetening process is nothing but the adding sugar to the food, and that sugar will not allow the germs to grow. Okay, so this process is used in preserving the jam, in preserving the squash, in preserving the marmalade. Fruits is a marmalade, and in preserving the jelly. Okay, if we keep them like that, if we don't add any sugar to those fruits, they will get rot easily. So this is the next process or next method, that is sweetening. Sweetening means here sugar, adding the sugar. Adding sugar to the food items. Now coming to the last method, that is dry storage. Sixth method, dry storage. Here is the dry storage. What is this dry storage? We store the dry food items in airtight containers at room temperature. Atta, suji, cereals, biscuits, etc. should be kept in clean and dry containers that have tight fitting lids. Storing the food properly keeps away dirt, insects and moisture. The food should be checked regularly to make sure it is safe or not. So here dry storage means without cooking storing the food. The food items which are not cooked, we will store them. That is nothing but dry storage. Okay. So here those dry storage, those foods items, those dry food items like cereals, like rice, wheat, ragi, jowar, all these are cereals, and atta. From the wheat only we will get the atta. Okay, wheat flour, atta, and then hittu. In Kannada, hittu we call atta, suji, rava. Okay, suji also we will keep aside. Vermicelli. Okay, that is also we will keep aside. Avlaki, poha. That one also we will keep outside. Right. So and then biscuits also, and then cereals, and then atta, suji, vermicelli, and then poha, biscuits. Some food items are there which we will keep them outside dry only. How to keep them? They should not become rot. No germs should grow in those food items. No, we should keep them safe. So what to do? We should keep them in an airtight container, glass jars or airtight Okay, so the box you should take, and the lid of that box, the cap of that box will be there. No, that should be very tight. If the cap is very tight means, then no dirt will enter in that, no small insects. There are lot of small insects are there which we cannot see with our eyes. So those from the air, those dirt cannot enter the glass, and that box, that small insects can't enter that box, and also water will not going to enter in that food item. If water is entered in that food item, then suddenly, if water is there means, then suddenly germs will grow in that water, in that food, and all the food will be spoiled. So here, dry storage is nothing but storing the food items in an airtight container, and those containers should have the strong lid. Okay, strong lid they have. Lid means cap. They should have strong lid, and keeping these all food items in a airtight container boxes. Okay, to keep them safe from the dirt, insects and moisture. And regularly, again and again, we have to open them, and we have to check them, we have to clean them, and we have to again close them, and we have to keep them to make sure that they are safe or not. Okay, so this process is nothing but the dry storage. Dry storage is nothing but storing the dry food items in the airtight container at room temperature. Outside only we can keep them. Okay, storing the food. Storing food in airtight containers at room temperature. Storing the food items in airtight container boxes in the at room temperature. This process is nothing but the dry storage. Okay. So this completes your methods of preserving and storing the foods. First method is freezing. Second is boiling. Third is salting. Fourth is dehydration. Fifth is sweetening. Sixth is dry storage. Okay. So last part of this lesson, you have to remember, after you came to know about, in detail you came to know about the food, nutrients, balanced diet, method of cooking the food, raw and cooked food, and method of preserving and storing the food. All these topics you came to know in detail. Last point, what you have to, after knowing all these things, what you have to remember means, some points you have to remember. What are those? See here, many people in this world do not get enough food to eat. As you know, many people are not getting the food to eat. They are starving, they are poor, they don't have money to eat also. You are getting the food, you are lucky. So many people are not getting the food to eat. Many do not get the right kind of the food. And so many people are not getting the food. In the other hand, so many people are not getting the right food to eat. Okay, so they are malnourished or undernourished. Okay, and consequently suffer from many diseases. The people who don't get, who are not getting the enough food, they, and also the people who are not getting the right amount of a food and right way of a food or right kind of a food, they all are called as malnourished or undernourished. Their nourishment is not at all proper. They are not at all getting the food, and if they are getting the food also, little bit they will get, and if they are getting the food also, the leftover food they are eating, which is left from which they, whoever they are giving, no, that is they kept for 2-3 days and they will give them to eat. That is not a right kind of the food. So these all people are called as a malnourished or undernourished. Okay, see, this much problem is there. So many of a thousand lakhs of people are not getting food to eat every day. So here, that's why we must remember this and never waste the food. That's why this one you have to keep in your mind, and you should never ever waste the food. You have to eat completely. What to do? What rules you have to follow means, first is, do not heap your plate with food that you cannot eat. See, whenever you sit for eating, do not heap means do not fill your plate with all the things which you cannot eat. Okay, so what you will do means, after seeing so many different dishes, what you will do, that also you will put in the plate, that also, all things you will put in the plate, and how much you want to eat, you will eat, and all you will leave like that only, and you will throw. That much of a food is wasted. So, what you have to remember, which one food, first you have to see the food item, which one you can eat, that one only you have to take and keep in your plate. First you take little bit and keep it and eat it. If you want some more, take some more and eat it. Rather than, don't fill your plate fully with all the food items. That will be wasted. So, do not heap your plate with the food that you cannot eat, which you cannot eat. No, that one you don't take only. Don't take it, don't waste it. So, don't. And take a little at one time and a second time only when you finish. Okay, first you take little bit and eat it. If you feel you want to eat some more, take little bit some more, you take it and finish it. Don't put so much in the plate and eat less and leave all that food like that only. Don't waste the food like this. As we came to know that so many people are not getting the food items. Okay, so here first step is, how much you want food, that much only you take and eat, and don't waste the food. Second point, what you have to remember means, here, do not take a bite of something and then throw it away. Okay, so many dishes are there means, what you will do, you will take from hand, you will taste it and you will keep like that. You will take it, you will eat it, half of that part you will keep that one. And you will take it, you will eat it, you will throw that one. Don't do like this. If you can eat that means, take little bit amount, eat it completely. Okay, check it, take to check you can eat or not, take little amount, eat it. If you feel good, take another one, eat it and finish it. Okay, finish it. So if you cannot eat means, don't eat and don't throw and don't waste the food. Right. Third one. If there is leftover food that cannot be used, do not put it into the garbage bin. Give it instead of that, give it to a poor person. So, whenever your mother will cook, after eating, whenever your mother will cook the food, you will have the food, you will eat the food, and after that also, if something is remained, means don't throw directly, don't take it and throw in the dustbin. No, because that is a good food only. So instead of that, what you do is take it and wrap it in a paper and take it and go, and if nearby your houses any poor person is there means, instead you go and give them to eat, so that their stomach also get filled. Okay, so here last point is, store cooked and uncooked food properly. Store cooked and also uncooked food properly, so that the food should not be wasted. Okay, we should store them after buying from the shop. We should store them with a proper method. Which methods I told before? No, these are all methods to follow, and store them in a proper and clean and neat places. And you should check that no food should be wasted. So this is here completes your lesson, chapter 3, our food. So these are all about the food. Like here completes your third chapter. And next chapter we will continue in the new class or next class.